We're going to talk about 1966 in a minute, but first we have to back up and talk about a few things. Welcome to part 2. In 1949, Eddie Futz decided to go work on the Alaska pipeline. He stopped off in LA on the way and was convinced to stay there and work with fighters. In 1952, he moved there on a full-time basis. In 1960, Cassius Clay won the Olympic title as a light heavyweight. In 1962, he had 3 fights in LA, and Eddie got to watch him. And with that, he was scouted, and Eddie thought he knew how to beat him. We'll talk more about what he saw in Ali at another time. 1964, Joe Frazier won the heavyweight gold medal at the Olympics in Tokyo and turned pro. He was signed by Yank Durham, and they created a syndicate that was called Cloverlay. Almost immediately, Yank began to realize he was in over his head and he wouldn't be able to take this kid to the title. This was his first contender and he really wanted to do it right. And so he called Eddie Futch. At this point, Joe was 8-0 and Eddie didn't know anything about him, hadn't seen him. Yank and Joe Frazier and a sparring partner went to LA and worked out in the gym. And then Eddie matched him in a few fights and watched him and then agreed to take over. Yank, in his great wisdom, signed over power of attorney to Eddie, and Futch was doing the matchmaking behind the scenes all the way through Joe's career. Cloverlay was putting pressure on Yank Durham to put Frazier in the heavyweight tournament, and Futch said no. He knew to get to the title, Frazier would have to fight the biggest heavyweights out there. And so he picked fights to season Joe and get him ready for this. This was a once-in-a-lifetime event to have a Joe Frazier brought to you and asked to be part of the team. And it was to affect the history of boxing for the next 20 years. If Eddie hadn't been associated with Joe Frazier, he might have never gotten a chance to work with the other heavyweight champions that he developed in the future. A lot of boxing history in the 80s and 90s was affected by that pivotal year, 1966. Hey, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, like something, help me out.